Okay, let's see if we can get this to play. Guys, thanks for joining me today. We are going to be doing some kind of comparison between how the Nigerians solve their problems on HCF and LCM and how the UK solve theirs, okay? The British people. Okay, now the reason for this comparison is just for us to see that there is a kind of difference in how maths is solved worldwide. Now, whichever method you use to solve maths is not an issue, but it's just that some of these maths methods are simpler to understand, especially for our children. Okay, so choose whichever method you want to choose when it comes to solving any maths problem, but which one makes more sense? Which one is less confusing? Okay, so I'm just gonna bring up my screen for us so that we can see what I want us to do today. If you bear with me a second. Right. Okay. I'm tempted to also say, just like we have different ways people sing their songs using their dialect and all that, we should realize that difference is not the issue. If we're getting the same result, say in the world of entertainment, for example, if we're getting the same result of entertaining people, that's fine. So it doesn't matter if your method is different, if you found an easier way is the best way to deal with maths. And just like the way we sing, there's one song coming to my brain now, K, something like that. You won't understand it as a British person, but if you have Drake's song, for example, sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry. It appeals more to the UK residents. So it doesn't matter, like I said. I'm gonna share my screen quickly. And then we can get started straight away with solving maths, because I don't want to waste your time. Now, at the end of this live stream, I'll be putting up the challenge question that I had asked in my group and on my page. Few people were able to solve that problem. And I just feel, why am I only having few responses? So to make sure that people are able to solve it, I am trying to give this out. I'll be giving a prize for the best, to the best person who shows an idea of how to solve that challenge question. You could be anywhere in the world and I'll send my prize to you. You will have to take a picture of how you have solved the problem and put it on my page. But we'll come to the challenge question later. I mean, it's on my page already. And I just want to give you a hint on how to solve it. Now, here in the UK, if you're asked to find the HCF and LCM of maybe 2 and 3, for example. So if I write 2 there and I write 3 there, this is the UK taught curriculum. And I'll also delve into how the primary school students are taught and how the secondary students are taught as well. Now, in the primary school till like year 4, they do this. Not this, I'll show you in a moment, in the primary school. So I'm gonna put the topic somewhere so we know what we are doing. In the primary school, they tell them the highest common factor of 2 and 3, this is how to do it. So they tell them what a factor is. A factor is a number that can go into another number without a remainder. Now, they know 2 can go into 2 without a remainder. And they know 1 can go into 2 without a remainder. They are asked to write it down. 3 can go into 3 without a remainder. 1 can go into 3 without a remainder. They write it down. Now, the common factor here is the 1. So they have to then write 1 as their common factor. Yeah, because you can see that's the highest common factor that these 2 numbers share. And when it comes to the LCM, they are asked to, remember the lowest common multiple has to do with multiples, which is the times table. So they tell them what are the multiples of 2. So another word I need to write here is multiples. So they tell them to write down the multiples of 2. We've also talked about what factors are. So if I just put that here. So 2 times table, they have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Let's stop there. And I have a friend, Tutu Akiyede, the founder of Techniques Academy, who has actually talked about how you can teach your child the times table. She's doing a series of 12 weeks program on how you can teach your child the times table. So if you want to check out on her page, Techniques Academy, Tutu Akiyede. If I can bring up a picture later of the Techniques Academy, I'll bring it up for you. So if you need to teach your child the times table, please check her out. Then they are also told to do the 3 times table for the multiples. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12. Let's stop there. So the lowest common multiple, which of these numbers, which of them appears in both times table? You can clearly see that this 6 is the first one that appears, which is common, and that's the lowest. Of course, if we keep going here, we'll see 12, won't we? But we don't want this 12, even though they are common. We want the lowest one. And so the lowest common multiple will be 6. Now, this is a sort of the primary school way, because up until year 4, you are given small numbers like this. And actually some year 4 are given the secondary school equivalent sort of numbers, which are the big numbers. So you have something like, let's say 60 and 15, okay? Now, to find the HCF, remember we're still dealing with the British way. So here, they will tell you to kind of find what we call the product of the prime factors of the numbers for the secondary school students. And like I said, some primary school students are actually able to do this with the big numbers. So where they don't write out all the factors one by one, because that will take the whole day, but they express these numbers as a product of the prime factors, okay? Now, let's go to a new page. So I'm going to write 60, and I'm going to write 15, and I'm going to write HCF, and I'm going to write LCM, the British way. When you're told to express a number as a product of its prime factors, express a number as a product of its prime factors. What do they mean? Now, if you haven't had my guide, my free guide, please send me a request for that free guide, because that will help you to know how to do some of this expressing of numbers as a product of its prime factors, and you will know what they mean as a product of its prime factors. And you will know what prime factors are and all that. However, for the purpose of this lesson, let's just go on straight away. Remember to send your request for a free guide if you happen to struggle on this part of the question. Now, if we have to express 60 as a product of its prime factors, I know 6 times 10 is 60. I could start with that. but none of these numbers are prime numbers. Yeah, so I've got to make sure that I replace this 6 with prime numbers. And the prime numbers I can replace this 6 with is 2 and 3. And the prime numbers I can replace the 10 with is 2 and 5. Now, if you multiply this out, 2 times 3 times 2 times 5 will actually give you 60. All the numbers are prime numbers, and they are all factors of 60. If you can't remember what prime numbers are, please ask for a free guide as well. I've got a free guide on that as well. Now, to express 15 as a product of its prime factors, we have 3 and 5. So that's just prime numbers. The 2 are prime numbers, so we can stop. This is the curriculum, the UK curriculum way. So we are going to pair up the factors that appear in both numbers. So we have that 3, and we're going to pair up this one as well. Now we take 1 out of each pair for the HCF, which is 3 times 5. And that gives us 15. And the LCM is that 3 and 5 that you got before. So just let's say that 15 we got before times the leftovers. Now the leftovers are these 2's. The leftovers are not in a circle like we've done for the rest common factors. So we're going to put 2 and 2 because those are the 2 leftovers. So that gives you 60. Now, this is kind of not the norm because some people might say, oh, so the HCF is just the number at the bottom and the LCM is the one at the top. No, it just happens that this is what it is for these 2 numbers, okay? Now, you're gonna judge not the best method, but you're gonna judge which one is easier for your child. So it doesn't matter if you're a Nigerian or not. And like I said, the focus is on comparison between the Nigerian way and the UK way. Okay, so let's go to Nigeria. There's a song Ebenezer Obey sings or in Yoruba for people who are Yorubas. And that's one of the songs. I'm just going to quickly, I'll sing it instead of playing it because of time. Judge my singing. Àìmásìkò ló ń dààmú ẹ̀dá o. Ọ̀rọ̀ mi lọ́wọ́ Olúwa ló wà. Owó ló fẹ́ ní sọ f'Elédùmarè. Aya ló fẹ́ ní sọ f'Elédùmarè. Á bá ẹ ṣe o, á ṣe é ṣe o láyé. I've got a lovely voice, I think, but judge my voice. Àìmásìkò ló ń dààmú ẹ̀dá o. Ọ̀rọ̀ mi lọ́wọ́ Olúwa ló wà. So to my Nigerian friends, I'm sure that song resonates with you, which is all about time and life. And like I said at the beginning of the video, just like the Drake song, sometimes we laugh, sometimes we cry. That song is just saying the same thing as well. So let's go to Nigeria. And maybe next time we can ask some of the community members from other parts of the country to tell us how they solve some of these maths problems on different topics as well. So let's go. In Nigeria, where I grew up, when we have something like 60 and 15, and you're asked to find the HCF and LCM, what we tend to do is use this method where you find a number that can go into both numbers. Basically, you're finding a factor, but then, you know, we were told numbers. So you put a number that can go into 16 and 15. For me, I'll choose 5, okay? So how many lots of 5 in 60? We know that's 12, yeah? And how many lots of 5 in 15? We know that's 3. Then we find another number that can go into 12 and 3. We know that's 3. Now, how many lots of 3 in 12? 4. Now, we should have said how many lots of 3 in 3, which is 1. Now, the problem here is not the problem. Once you get 1, you've got to stop dividing this bit here. Okay? You cannot go and say, okay, this is 2 and that's going to be 2. I hope the confusion is not setting in. Just please go along with me. So we have the HCF to be the numbers that we have on this part here, which is 5 times 3. And that gives you 15 for the HCF like we had using the UK method. And the LCM is whatever numbers you have on this side, put an arrow there. Sorry. Can we Control Z that? Yeah, so whatever numbers you have on that side, which is 15, times this number you have left here. And that's going to be 60. Now, this is the Nigerian way. I'm going to try with another number, and we're going to put it side by with another pair of numbers, and we're going to put it side by side, a British way and the UK way with another chosen numbers. So I'm going to go, let's try 72. So I'm going to write it here. I'm going to write British way under the British curriculum, and I'm going to put the Nigeria way here. Yeah. So if you're a Nigerian and if you're a British, so we have 72 and 180. You need to express your 72 as a product of its prime factors, which is in one of my free guides that I normally would give out. Please request for one if you need to know how to express numbers as a product of their prime factors. So for 72, I know 8 times 9 is 72, but unfortunately, I'm not allowed to write that there. Why? Because 8 and 9 are not prime numbers. I can only put prime numbers in here, okay? So I am going to write 8 as 4 times 2. There's still a problem. I am not allowed to put 4 times 2 because the 4 is not a prime number. So if I put it here, we know 8 times 9 is 72. If we break down this 8 using our factor trees, for those who have that, the guide, we'll have 4 times 2. But we are not allowed to put this 4 because it's not broken down. So we need to break that 4 down to 2 times 2. So the 8 becomes 2 times 2, which is that 4, times 2. And you can see 4 times 2 will give you 8. The 9 I'm not allowed to put because it's not a prime number, becomes times 3 times 3. Now, if you multiply that out, you will get 72. And they are all prime numbers and factors of 72. So that makes sense. And then for 180, I know, I'm just wondering if I can get another color of pen so that we can see the difference here. But yeah, I can get another one. So I know 10 times 18 will give me 180, but I'm not allowed to write any of this because both numbers are not prime numbers. I'm only allowed to put in prime numbers. So let's change to another pen. So I need to break down 10 using my factor tree. If you know how to break down 10, expressing 10 as a product of its prime factors, you have 2 and 5, all right? If I just clear that off from the Nigerian side. So you have 2 times 5 for 10, and for 18, you could have 2 times 9 for 18. But I can only put these 2 there. I am not allowed to put the 9. I've got to break it down to its constituent prime number part, which is 3 times 3. Now, if you multiply this all out, you will get 180. I hope that makes sense. So I am going to just pair them up now, the common factors, but I'm going to rub off this bit here. So now to pair them all up, come on now, don't mess me up. Where's your pen? annotations. 1 second, please. Can't remember where annotations are now. Okay, I think I remember. Go back. Right, okay, so I'm gonna pair them up. Any number that appears in both sides, that's another one. That's another one. Okay, so I'm now going to take one out of each pair, yeah? So one out of that bit, one out of that bit, one out of that bit, and one out of that bit. That will give me my HCF. Now 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 3 is 12, 12 times 3 is 36. So that is your HCF. Now your LCM is that 36 you got times the leftovers. I can only see 2 leftovers here, which is 2 and 5. So if you multiply that out, you'll get 360. So that is your LCM. All right. So if I now go to the Nigerian way, let's use a new page because that might take a lot of space. So, and then we can always come back to this, can't we? So if I click on that bit there and we go back to do a 72 and 180. Yeah, this is the Nigerian way we're gonna do. I need to find a number. Of course, you know what I mean by the number in this case, a factor that can go into 72 and 180. And I know 2 can really go in there. So I've got 2 there and I've got 36 there because how many lots of 2 in 72 is 36? How many lots of 2 in 180 is 90? How many lots of 2 in 36? 18. How many lots of 2 in 90? 45. Now, 2 cannot go into 45, so I'm not allowed to use 2, even though 2 can go into 18. So I need to find another number. I know 3 can go into 18, 6 times, and I know 3 can go into 45, 15 times, okay? Let's just rule the line so we don't get it all muddled up. And I know 3 can go into 6 again 2 times, and I know 3 can go into 15 5 times. Now, like I said previously, once you get one of the numbers to be prime numbers at the bottom, you stop. But in this case, we've got 2 prime numbers, so of course we have to stop. So the Nigerian HCF here becomes 4 times 9 because you have your side numbers here. Come on now, where are you? One moment, please. Okay, so you have the side numbers there, which you have to multiply to get your HCF. And if you multiply that, 2 times 2 times 3 times 3, you're gonna get 36. Yeah, because 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 9 is 36. And then your LCM is all the numbers on that side, which of course we've seen it's 36, times the 2 prime numbers you've got there, which is 2 and 5. If you multiply that out, you will get 360. All right, so this is the Nigerian way. Now you judge for yourselves. Would you remember, if I can go back there, hope I can. I hope I can. You judge for yourself. Would you remember that the Nigerian way, when you get a number which is, for example, the 3 there, or when you get the 1, you have to stop. Would you remember that? Now, as a Nigerian, would you also know what it means to express a number as a product of its prime factors? So these are questions we need to ask. The methods are taught. Yes, the methods are taught, but would you know that 60, when you're asked to write it as a product of its prime factors, what you're meant to do? Now, this is where my challenge question comes into, or comes from. How many of us can actually solve the challenge question? Now, for people who don't know where the challenge question is on my page, on the Maths Teacher Bytes page, I will be writing the challenge question out again at the end of this live stream. And I shall be doing it as a giveaway challenge sort of question, where you then have to judge for yourselves how you can use any of the methods to solve it. I'm going to give you another hint. To solve it is easier to use the British way. But of course, it's a challenge. I would love to see people put in the photos of how they've solved it using the Nigerian way. But if you want to use the British way because you've seen how I have shown you how to do it, go on. Even if you're a Nigerian, go on, solve it, send me the pictures and put it on my Facebook page under the current post I will be putting out after the live stream. So that is all about HCF and LCM for now. I hope you got something meaningful out of it. And thanks for joining me. I have 1 more minute. I'll see if I can play one of the music that keeps popping up in my head. And maybe we'll play it for just a minute or so. Okay, I hope I can get it. I don't want to share the screen anymore. So let's stop the share. And let me go on to see if I can get the music to play for us all. It just keeps popping up